Hey guys, it's been a minute. I'd be kind of surprised if I ended up posting this just because I'm filming it late at night, or it's like 1 in the morning. And usually when I film those, I end up deleting them. I actually was tired, and then I started making a TikTok when I was in bed, and it took a while. And then by the time I was finished, I have energy now, so. But I've been meaning to sit down and film a vlog for a while because, like I said, it's been a little bit. And yeah, this summer has like flown by. I think the last video I posted, I want to say was like June or May. I don't think it was May. It might have been. And it's August now. But yeah, it's gone by really fast. And there's been a lot of stuff that's going on. And I feel like right now I seem kind of like somber, but I'm not. It's just late. Even though I'm not like super tired. But things have been going really well, which is probably why I haven't filmed a vlog, is because I haven't really had like a ton to talk about in that sense, because I feel like this past year, with all the different things I've been working through in therapy, like a lot of different stuff was coming up and I was having a lot of different breakthroughs and changes, whereas now I'm just like kind of doing well, which is really cool. So I guess it makes sense to kind of go through some updates like professionally and then maybe talk about some personal stuff. And I can't entirely remember where I left off, but I'm pretty sure the stuff I'm gonna go over is things that are new from whenever the last time I talked. So the first one is TEFL, the Teaching English as a Foreign Language. I think where I left off with that, and this isn't related to any of the projects, it's just, I don't know. I was like considering getting certified to teach English as a foreign language because I was thinking about going abroad. It probably wouldn't be anytime soon. Like the program that I'm looking at, I wouldn't leave till next year, like in the springtime. But anyways, I did decide to get certified, and so I'm in classes right now. I think it's week 5 technically. And it's been going well. I was kind of concerned with starting classes because it's a 150-hour course, and it's not, well, it is asynchronous, but like you have stuff that you have to get done each week. And there's a class that you can attend, but you don't have to. But yeah, I was kind of concerned if I could like do that while working full-time. But actually, and I don't know if I mentioned this in the last vlog, I think I probably did, but I ended up taking FMLA, so I've been on a reduced schedule for a month and a half now, so that has been helpful, and that ends like first week. I think I did it from like first week of July to like first week of September, or like last week of August, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm working like, gosh, how much, like 30 hours a week kind of, so that has given me time to work on the TEFL classes, which I definitely have needed because of some other things I'm going to talk about. But yeah, it's been going well, and I think it's like learning about teaching is really interesting, and part of the reason that I wanted to do it, again, might have explained this before, but I actually almost went into education. When I applied to college, I applied as an education major. I was going to do special ed, but then I remember actually specifically talking to one of my art teachers, and what I really wanted to go for was like photojournalism. And I was like, yeah, I'm just like nervous about the competition. And she was like, well, there's competition everywhere. And I was like, damn, that's true. Granted, some avenues have a lot more competition than others, and I ended up changing my track to journalism, and that's what I was my first year at Bloomsburg. And then when I came to Millersville, it transferred to like media arts production, which worked out, even though I don't remember choosing that. It was just how it transferred. I think they actually did have a journalism track at Millersville, but I wasn't in it. But I'm really glad for that, because I feel like the skills I got were a lot more like versatile, and led me to like just a larger breadth of opportunities, if that makes sense. Yeah, that story wasn't super relevant, but yeah, so I almost went into education, and it's something that like I've always seen myself going like in some kind of school role, even though I like wasn't a huge fan of school. But I actually realized why that was. It was because I felt so trapped at school, and like, this is, okay, launching into the personal stuff. This may not be news again, because I may have talked about this before, but like feeling trapped was like a huge thing for me, and I felt that way a lot as a teen. And that I think was why I was so depressed, because I felt helpless. And then of course I escaped in like daydreams. But school made me feel that way too. I felt that way at home, and then I felt that way at school because I like couldn't leave. And I remember like very vividly like sitting in a classroom and like looking out at the sky and just being like, I want to die, like I hate this. And I didn't even like hate school. Like I liked to learn. I've always liked to learn. And I liked the social aspect of it. I just like, I don't know, I think, yeah, things just kind of carried over. And yeah, but I've always kind of felt like drawing to school spaces, and I think because of like working with kids, like working with people who are like young people who are impressionable, and like getting to be like the adult that I want to be to them, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, it's very important for me to like be a safe, healthy adult that like inspired, like, because I feel like when I was growing up, and I still hear this, like everyone's like it's so, I feel like misery is like so normalized in our culture, and I get it because I know things aren't great. And like mental health is very much an intersectional issue. Like it's not just like change your mindset, or be like, look on the bright side, because people do genuinely have a reason to be like, yeah, this sucks. But for me personally, like, and again, this is coming from someone who's like very blessed, but still I just like, I don't know, like I want kids to know, like for me, like I'm going to cultivate peace and joy and fun in my life. Like I'm not gonna let those things die, and I don't think those are things that are like reserved for childhood. I think those are things that are innately human, and it's stuff that we can like, you can like practice and grow it like a skill. And I don't think that it has to go away with age. Like this idea that it's all like, I don't know, exclusive to childhood, I just reject that so much. And yeah, just like growing up, like you hear adults being like, be happy because these are the best days of your life. And I was like severely depressed in high school, and I was like, oh my god, then I'm gonna kill myself. And I shouldn't joke about that, but I wasn't joking. I like literally wanted to die. But anyways, yeah, just I want like kids to look at me and be like, oh, like that's cool, like I have hope for the future, that things can get better, and that we do have a say in how we feel and how life feels. So yeah, little side note there, sorry. Yeah, so TOEFL's going well. Speaking of English, I got an editor for stats, so I finished stats, and then I printed out another manuscript, which I'm gonna get my manuscripts because I like oh, it's in the car. My manuscript is in the car, my new one, and that's fine. I have my 2 old ones. It's funny the difference in thickness. This is my first one, and this is my second one, and the third one is a little bit thicker, but not really. Yeah, so I did that, and okay. I was originally just gonna go straight to like the query letter process. So basically, if you want to publish a book, I think, I've never done it before and I'm not an expert, this is just like what I've heard from the internet, is you obviously have to have a manuscript, and then you like put together a query package which consists of like a synopsis of your story, an excerpt, maybe a letter about you, I think, and I might be missing something, but you put that together, and a query letter if I didn't list that, and you query agents, which is basically how it sounds, just seeing like if they'll take you on as a client. And you don't have to pay agents, you shouldn't pay an agent. If you're paying an agent, you're getting scammed, at least again, that's what I've been told. But and then if they like your work, then they'll, you know, take you on, and then they try to get you a publishing deal, and then if you get a deal, they take a portion of whatever you're given by that publishing company. So that's traditional route. You can self-publish, you can publish on like Amazon, I think, for free. There's a couple different avenues, but I always really wanted to self-publish, or not self-publish, traditionally publish, just because that was like, that is a dream of mine. So I did my manuscript, I had it, and then I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't remember like where exactly, because I know that I was like debating getting an editor, which some people are like very anti, like don't get an editor before you queer agents, because like your agent's gonna edit it, or I don't know, they'll like hook you up with an editor. And then some people are like, no, like definitely edit. So I ended up finding an editor on Reezy, which I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like I sent like 5 requests, and I got like positive reviews back. And one lady, one editor, her name is Lisa, and she actually is the like former director of Scholastic Publishing and like another agency, and she has like almost like 30 years of experience in the field. Like she's written books, she's published books, and then she also oversaw the publication of the Hunger Games in the UK, which is really cool. And so she was like, hey, and she gave me a good deal, because I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what to like set my cost for. Like I don't have a ton of money like set aside for this, but like whatever. And she kind of like worked with me with my budget, and was like, hey, I really like this piece, because I had like submitted like most of the first chapter, and she was like, I can see that you write well. And then she gave me like some edits right out the gate of being like, I would do this. And so I was like, okay, this is like, she's actually engaged with my work. So I ended up going with her, and I was so excited when I got like when I accepted her offer, that I couldn't sleep for like 4 days. Like I'm not kidding. I mean, I eventually fell asleep, but like it was really hard because I was just so excited. And so she read my book, my manuscript, and she did that really fast. Like I was surprised by the turnaround time. And I was kind of like, it was brutal, but like in a good way. She was very honest, very direct, which is like what you want in an editor. And she called out basically everything that I was scared about my book, that I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to face. And I was like, damn, that's rough, but ultimately very helpful. And so basically I'm like going back over things and like restructuring the narrative. The biggest thing is she told me that it was like too subtle and nuanced, and so she told me to like turn up the volume on stuff, because I was so scared of like spoon feeding my audience that I made it a little too, like she said, subtle and nuanced, which I guess is a good problem to have, because usually it's the other way around. But yeah, so now I'm editing and I'm going back over it, and that's what I've been doing on my weekends. I've been doing my TEFL course during the week, and then I've been trying to knock out editing on the weekends. So really busy, like literally don't have a spare second to breathe, because I'm supposed to get these revisions done by September 2nd, which I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm actually probably gonna shoot her a message tomorrow and be like, hey, can I have an extension? But we had a call, that was, yeah, like after she had read my book, and yeah, she's just like very talented, like knows a lot, like she knows what she's talking about, and like just gave really great feedback, and was like very succinct and to the point, and like again, everything that an editor should be. So that was really helpful. And I'm kind of nervous because I don't know, I'm making like some big changes, and like I really hope that I'm not making it worse. One thing I'm doing is, because she suggested that the book would sound a lot better in present tense, because there's a lot of flashbacks, and so it's like a flashback in a flashback, which is super confusing. And again, it was one of those things where I was like, once I had got pretty far into the book, like towards the end, I was like, maybe should have written this in present tense. But at that point, I was like, I'm just gonna pretend that this isn't a problem and hope that it works. But it didn't, obviously, and so now I've been going back and writing the whole thing in present tense, which it is, I mean, it's definitely work. It's not as much work as it sounds, because I'm just like changing verbs and like some sentences, so like I'm not going through and like typing it all from scratch, but it's still a hefty task because this is, how many pages is this? I think like ballpark 200, and like 200 of these like full pages, so it would be more in book form, but 80,000 words, that's a better baseline for what it is, which is a lot. And so I'm doing that on top of like, again, rewriting the narrative and like fleshing out the characters more, because that was another thing. She was like, you have these things happen to these characters, but like we don't care about them enough to like be affected by the events. So I'm like, all right, how can I like make this more engaging? But overall, it's been fun. It's been like exciting to actually, oh, you know what, this is a great parallel. I'm glad I'm talking about this, because something that like working on stats has like really helped me with, and like long-term projects in general. So this definitely ties in with Paper Birds too, but I think especially this book, because I've been working on it for so long. Like I had been trying to write it since high school, and then I was writing bits and pieces for like, I don't know, a year maybe? I don't really know the exact timeline. And then again, on my 19th birthday is when I was like, okay, I need to get this shit done. And so that's when I like actually started writing a chapter a week, and I did it. I wrote the book. And now it's 4 years later, because I finished it in 2020. And like it's just been such a long process, which with so many baby steps. But with long-term projects, like you kind of like, I understand why people don't finish things like this. Like I understand the statistics when it comes to like the amount of people who like want to write a book versus who start writing a book versus like who actually finish it. And it's because it's a lot of work, and like when you first get into it, it's fun because you're excited, and then after like a couple chapters you're like, oh, this is actually gonna take a while. And I feel like I got over that hump, and then it was definitely frustrating for a while, like writing it and editing it, because I was like, yeah, this is taking a really long time. But then I guess as I matured and got to see like the fruits of my labor through like, I guess not really this project because it's never been like really publicized, but I guess more so with Paper Birds, because I've done like showings here and there, and gotten to, you know, work on different things because of that project. I really grew to like appreciate the like the process of something. And like I know it's very cliche, but like when people say like it's more about the journey than the destination, I know, cringe. I actually understand that now and like agree, because like the process itself has been like just as meaningful as the end result, if that makes sense. And anyways, how that all relates to me personally is getting to see again like the fruits of my labor, and seeing like, okay, all these like little baby steps actually amounts to something, because I was working on it for so long like by myself, and now I'm like working with an editor, and now it's like, okay, I'm like really turning this into something that could be like hopefully published, or at least like, I don't know, like digestible to my audience, whoever that ends up being, because I don't know if the current format or the original format is like best served for that. I mean, I did have a beta reader read it and they enjoyed it, but yeah, there were still issues obviously, and it can be a lot better than it is right now. But yeah, just getting to see that happen like has made me feel that way about like EMDR and healing from trauma, because that is a really long process, and it is a lot of baby steps, and it's a lot of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and it's very painful. It's excruciating, but again, seeing like those things amount to something, and to be able to look back and see how far you've come, I was able to like, that gave me hope for recovery, and now I'm in a place where like I'm like, yeah, I feel good, like I feel a lot better, I feel lighter, I actually enjoy life, which is another, I don't know if I'm gonna totally get into this. You know, I'll do a quick Paper Birds update first, because that feels, I started these vlogs for Paper Birds, and now I'm yapping about other stuff that's not related. But yeah, so as far as Paper Birds stand, there's not really any updates. I'm doing a CEU, like I've probably mentioned too many times. in October, and I actually just sent an email to the 2 people that I'm collaborating on that with. Mona's one of them, and then there's an EMDR therapist who's named Alyssa. And actually her focus, I mean, I guess this is why we're like working together, but she is like big on memory and like somatic and recovered memories. Specifically, I think she works with twins and like twins who lost a twin in the womb. And it's really interesting because that's not something that like ever crossed my mind of like something that would affect someone going on. Not because I didn't think that it wouldn't, but just because I like wasn't aware of that. Like I never thought to consider it, and now I can like definitely see it, not just like from a conscious standpoint, but like because of how I believe like the body remembers trauma and how things work on a somatic level. Like I absolutely believe that that would like affect someone negatively and could probably have a really substantial impact on someone. So I just think that that's really cool. We need people doing like niche stuff like that, because that's kind of how I felt with like Paper Birds, of being like, not only is this a recovered memory, but I actually don't remember exactly what the memory was. I just know that it was really bad. But yeah, and speaking of that, this isn't what I was gonna talk about, but I don't think I'm gonna launch into that because that'd be really long, and this is already long. As far as the box trauma stuff goes, we have been tackling that now. I know we started doing that in like March, but we've kind of jumped around because other stuff came up, and we've kind of just been tackling whatever does come up, because that's just been, I don't know, we've been like off-roading, and it's been working, so that's good. But we've really started to focus on the box trauma, and I've had, honestly, I can't, if I sat and thought about it, I could probably remember the sessions, but right now I'm just drawing a blank. But one huge update is that I am not bothered by blue skies anymore. Like clear skies don't, knock on wood, of course, because I'm scared that whenever I say something like that, I feel like the universe like comes and like bites me in the ass. I don't know if that's a humbling technique, but yeah, that's been going on like, I want to say 3 weeks now, 3 or 4 weeks, which is like, it's so dramatically improved the quality of my life. Because like for me, clear skies, and of course it varied in intensity how much I was bothered by it, but like just, and this is gonna sound stupid, but like seeing the sky be blue, like I felt like this, like it felt sentient, and it felt like this, like it gave me like this empty feeling of like I don't belong and I'm supposed to be dead. And yeah, so as you can probably imagine, it's kind of hard to avoid. So for a while, that's why I felt so, like that trigger made me feel so broken, because for one, didn't know it was a trigger. Like I thought it was just weird, because I like never liked the clear skies. And two, it's just so avoidable that even when I knew like the connection to trauma, I still was like, because it's such a big thing, like I haven't met anyone with like such a like stupid, like unavoidable trigger, if that makes sense. I shouldn't call it stupid because I'm sure other people have that trigger, and I don't know, but like something that's like so normal, it made me think, instead of being like, oh, that's a trauma response, it was like, maybe I'm just like not cut out to be here, and like those thoughts that I get when I like am affected by the sky are true. And so yeah, to be able to like go outside and like see the sky and not only not be bothered by it, but like actually feel kind of like joy and peace is like really cool. And speaking of that, I have felt like just kind of lately it's just been like this undercurrent of peace that's there like pretty constantly, which is so cool, and just like amazing that I can say that. Like that's like, yeah, wild. But like I also feel like I don't feel alone when I'm alone. Like I feel like I have like, I'm kept company by my child self. Like I feel like my child self is like inside of me, if that makes sense. And I have like this maternal love for my inner child, because I think in general I have a very strong maternal instinct, even if I don't ever end up having kids one day, like that's still like something that's very strong in me. And I feel that like love channeled towards like this like child that like it feels like if I had a child, like I would love them in that way, if that makes sense. And then I also feel the presence of, I think I've talked about the BP on here, which is the same thing basically as God, but like, I guess I've struggled to use the word God just because of the negative connotations I have with that, and I'm still working through that, but basically, yeah, I guess you could call it God. Like, I feel like some kind of like higher power is also there with me. So like when I envision myself like going through my days, like I see it's like I'm here, and then there's like my child self, and then there's like God / the BP, and it's just like peaceful, and I feel like I'm being kept company. And also too, I feel so much more what's the right word, control over how I see things and like my mindset. I need to be better, I don't have to be, I mean, I'd like to be better at mindfulness, even though it's something that I'm like decent at now. But I'd honestly really like to get into meditation more. I mean, I do it in like little ways, because you really like, you don't have to like sit and close your eyes and be like to meditate. I think just like paying attention is a form of meditation. So like sometimes I'll play like I have a water fountain. It's like a tiny one that I showed in one of the vlogs, and I'll just like try and really pay attention to listening to that. Or if I'm out and there's like other sounds, I'll do that. Or sometimes driving like in my car, I'll like turn the music off and do that. Why was I talking about all of this? Oh, I feel more control over like, again, how I feel and how I perceive the world, because I've really tried to like adopt that whole like perception dictates reality thing. But I think the component that's missing from that is like, if you're living with unresolved issues and like unresolved trauma, that is going to bother you. Like, that is going to get in the way of these things that I've been experiencing, the peace and the company and the mindfulness and the ability to have control of your thoughts. Like, that is going to get in the way. And I think that's something that like people that doesn't get acknowledged much. I don't know if it's a form of denial or repression, where people are just like, I just gotta think. And two, you know what, it's definitely symptomatic of the society we live in, where we're like, we see ourselves as like brains with bodies instead of like bodies with brains. And yes, I know the brain is a part of a body, but I'm like speaking metaphorically. And also trying to like will yourself out of everything instead of just like letting yourself feel things. That's a whole thing to unpack. Where was I going? I lost the plot a little bit there. But yeah, because like there's like kind of, and it all circles back. The TikTok that I made, I was like, the caption was something about how like, as a photographer, like that's one of the things I cherish, is like being able to see the world in like this different way. Like, I see, not all the time, but a lot of the time, like when I'm in my window of tolerance, I like see the world in the way that I like photograph it. And I think I don't entirely feel, I'm still learning how to feel safe in that, because I definitely am working through those beliefs of like, I have to, like, do you ever feel like if someone believes something negative or like something bad happens, like you have to feel that way too? I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, and just that's another thing, like, because of online, and this kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier about like wanting to believe that like, you know what, I'm gonna continue to like become more peaceful and wiser and happier as I get older, rather than like on the internet it kind of feels like everyone just like is like, yeah, we're in a shithole and life sucks. And like, again, I get it, and I'm not one to talk about the quality of life, because again, I'm coming from a place of like a lot of privilege, but I feel like when I'm in those spaces, it's like, I feel like I have to think that way. Like, I'm not seeing things clearly by being happy or being like feeling peaceful. And that's another reason why I'm like, I need to like spend less time on social media, which I think I'm doing. I mean, maybe my time is the same, but I'm spending it differently, so I'm not like consuming negative content, because it's definitely been affecting me less. But yeah, I'm just learning to be like, you know what, it's actually okay to like be in that space and like see the world in like this magical way, and like that's good. But yeah, just kind of getting over the fear of like yeah, just that I'm like living in a fantasy world, because that's another thing, is like, because I spent so much time like not in reality, I'm like, I hope this isn't just another variation of that, but I don't think that it is, because I feel present, you know, in those moments. But yeah, and there's honestly, now that I'm talking, I'm like, there's so much more that I could talk about in respect to like the personal side of things, but I hope that was kind of enlightening. I think that it's a good, like, very good like capsule of what this summer has been like for me. So it's been good. And I hope you guys are feeling good. And I hope that you know, and again, I hope this isn't one of those things that comes back to bite me in the ass, but I'm gonna have faith on this one. I really do think, like I said before, that like peace and joy and hope are very innate human qualities, and I don't think we have to like white knuckle our way through every day, because I know a lot of people live like that, and I don't think that's what we're made for. Like, that's not what life has to be or should be. And again, I know there's a lot of barriers when it comes to like working through that, but I just want people to know that it's possible. It really is, and I think that needs to be spoken about more. We need more like positivity and hope in the world, because dear God. But yeah, I think that's everything. I'm gonna try to go to bed. I'm kind of a little disappointed in my, you know, I'm not disappointed, but I know that tomorrow I'm kind of gonna regret being up till like 2 a.m. but because I have to edit. But it's fine. It's fine, you know? Everything's cool now. Nothing really bothers me that much. But yeah, have a good night. Hope everyone had a good summer, and hopefully I'll have some cool updates come the fall, because hopefully I'll be done my TEFL course and I'll know if I'm actually going to Thailand, and how the CEU stands, and if Lisa likes my edits. Fingers crossed. Okay, bye.